It can't keep up with the amount of ups and downs this market has seen lately. With all the recent regulation changes, jobs data, upcoming rate cuts, and institutional moves, it could be a lot to wrap your head around. And if there was one project that could be affected the most by all of this, it would be World Liberty Financial. And the amount of news and changes we've seen with the project is unreal. But before we dive into it, let's take a look at what's been going on in the markets. First off, we just witnessed a massive partnership between the trillion-dollar wealth management firm Franklin Templeton and Binance to help with tokenizing their securities on the Binance Smart Chain. This is just another example of TradFi opening up to the crypto space, which could bring billions of dollars of liquidity on-chain. Then we had BlackRock jumping on board with Trump and agreeing that there needs to be a bare minimum 50-point rate cut in the upcoming Fed meeting. A 50-point cut would result in a lot more liquidity flowing into the crypto ecosystem for a few reasons. When the Fed cuts by 0.25%, for example, it could still be seen as a cautious move. Sure, it lowers borrowing costs a bit, but investors may still feel like the Fed is playing safe. But a 0.5% cut, on the other hand, sends a much stronger message that the Fed is ready to push hard on growth and liquidity. Cheaper interest rates and more liquidity means more money trickling into riskier assets like Bitcoin and altcoins. And the cool thing is that it also affects psychology. A small cut can be seen as business as usual, while a bigger cut shows urgency and gives traders more confidence in the market and higher risk assets. So in short, you're going to want to keep an eye out for the FOMC meeting coming up on the 17th because we could see some serious volatility around it. But now that we know how things are looking overall, I want to narrow in on one of the most talked about projects in the DeFi sector right now, and that's World Liberty Fi. So let's jump into it. So the WLFi token drop has been absolute chaos. What started as a Trump branded DeFi project quickly turned into one of the biggest spectacles crypto has seen in years. It had hype, it had volume, it had drama, and of course, it had controversy baked in from the start. But to understand it, we're going to need to rewind. So back in mid-2024, WLFi showed up under the name The Defiant Ones with members of the Trump family on board. The founders were Zachary Folkman, Chase Harrow, and Zach Witkoff, all backed by security firms promising audits. On paper, it looked like another DeFi lending and borrowing play, but this one had the Trump brand attached. And that alone was enough to grab attention. By October, the public token sale was live. It sold nearly all the 25 billion tokens, raising over $550 million from more than 85,000 investors. And that's where the founder of Tron Chain, Justin Sun, showed up. He invested $30 million and tied WLFi into the Tron ecosystem, becoming one of the ambassadors of the project. And with all of this money pouring in, they managed to pick up some decent investments for the WLFi portfolio. At this point, the project holds just under $10 billion worth of assets. Mainly their WLFi token, their stablecoin USD1, Tron, Ondo, some staked assets on Aave, and a few others. Seems like a pretty decent portfolio, so you might be wondering, what's the big issue with the project? Well, let's cut to September 1st of this year when the WLFi token finally publicly launched. The day that we saw the official public token launch of WLFi. It opened trading around the 20 to 30 cent range and hit $1 billion in volume in 24 hours. But it didn't really last long. By September 3rd, the token's market cap dropped from around $8 billion down to the $4 billion range, losing almost half its value. Panic spread, and WLFi tried to stop the bleeding by burning 47 million tokens. But the real bombshell was still to come. Just days later, WLFi blacklisted over 270 wallets, including Justin Sun's, freezing hundreds of millions in tokens. They accused him of market manipulation, claiming he moved millions of tokens to an exchange called HTX and was causing the price to dump. But Sun fired back, saying the transactions were just for testing, and he even said that the blacklist was a major violation of DeFi as a whole. Either way, the move proved WLFi wasn't as free and decentralized as they promised, considering a single address could freeze your funds at any time. This move only made things worse as the community became divided on the issue and the token's market cap continued to drop. If you take a look at the charts, WLFi launched with explosive volume, but since then, it's been forming lower highs and lower lows. A clear sign of correction. At the worst of it, the market cap dropped to the mid $4 billion range. But it's not just all downhill from there. More recently, the token has actually started to recover, hiking up to a local high of $6.5 billion around September 7th, before settling around the $5.5 billion range where it sits as of recording. The price has been consolidating for a few days now, so let's keep an eye on it and see if it can continue to bounce from that $5.5 billion support level. Now, if you're someone who wants to get in on the action and pick up some WLFi or maybe short it and prey on its downfall, then you're gonna need a good exchange either way. And here's the thing, if you understand this manipulation game, you can actually use this volatility to your advantage. That's exactly what I've been doing with perpetual futures on Margex. When you know these coordinated dumps are coming, having a reliable platform that can help you move fast is super important. Margex has been solid during these volatile periods when timing is everything. If you want to give them a try, then use my code FireHustle. You'll get up to a 20% deposit bonus. The link is in the description. Give it a shot and let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. So looking ahead to the potential future of WLFi, I think some people have definitely drawn the line at the wallet blacklistings and completely backed out of the project, but others are still fully on board. And the team is still hard at work launching new features and announcing new partnerships as well. They recently announced the release of the WLFi lockbox. It's a vault on Ethereum where WLFi tokens will be stored and unlocked over time instead of all at once. This helps stop everyone from selling at the same time and crashing the price. On September 1st, 2025, users were able to claim 20% of their tokens, while the other 80% will unlock later depending on community votes. Then we also saw the release of something called Project WEEX, focused on the growth of their USD1 stablecoin on Solana. To make this work, they teamed up with Bonk.Fun and Radium's launchpads to integrate USD1 into their ecosystems. So in simple terms, anyone launching a coin on something like Bonk.Fun can use USD1 as the stablecoin as the base pair for their coin. Basically what that means is whenever a token is launched, it needs a pool of liquidity for people to trade back and forth from. If they buy some of the meme coin, they're going to add a stablecoin like USD1 to the liquidity pool and remove the same value of the meme coin from the pool. Then when they sell, it's the opposite. So they put those tokens back into the liquidity pool and pull the stablecoin out. So the fact that USD1 is partnering up with big players in the Solana ecosystem for this is pretty big. And launchpads aren't the only ones adopting USD1. We're seeing some pretty big firms and DeFi protocols like Falcon Finance and Camino Finance deciding to hop on board as well. So to wrap things up, here's the bottom line. WLFi is one of the wildest launches we've seen this year. It mixes politics, celebrities, DeFi mechanics, and a lot of controversy into one project. And some people believe that blacklisting holders is completely out of the question for a DeFi project, while others think it's needed to help keep the price stable. But I think that the future of the project really depends on whether the team can continue building out features and partnerships and eventually restore trust. Until then, the coin's price movement has been pretty volatile, but I'm curious to know what you guys think. Are you going in on this dip, or would you rather steer clear from the project? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And that's it for today. Remember, just because I'm talking about WLFi doesn't mean you should blindly invest. None of this is financial advice. Always do your own research and understand the risk before making any investment decisions. If you want to go deeper with real-time setups, watch lists, and strategy breakdowns, then come and join me in the FireHustle VIP Discord. The link is in the description below. And if you want more videos like this, then make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.